G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an industrial electromagnetic driver, which I can best describe in simple terms as when a laser musket and a Tesla rifle love each other very much, this is the product that they produce from that relationship. Now, this thing was first sold to me as an anti-materiel Gauss rifle type weapon, which those words in that order already make me interested, but then I saw a photo of this thing fully modified and I was sold on board right away. This is one of the best Nif Bash weapons I have ever seen and probably will ever see. This sets the bar really, really high for what people can do with the assets in Fallout 4 whilst they're shuffling them around, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can ever top this, but I don't see that's happening. It's a giant rifle as well, so what you'll find is that even if you're in power armor, this thing won't be dwarfed by the size of your armor, unlike the Creation Club Gauss rifle, which was sort of the modder's philosophy here, of making a weapon that is actually worthy of being, you know, a Gauss rifle, because paying $4 for a laser musket that fires blue bullets and looks different, that just isn't going to cut it. So we've gone into that and just given it more depth and more interesting stuff, and they've come up with something that I think is truly special. This thing uses the laser musket animation sounds from a Gauss rifle, so all very vanilla, but not actually. So we'll get into the attachments here. First of all, we've got the inductors, which there's a lot going on here, and you won't be unlocking these as you install them. Well, there's actually a couple of places you need to go and explore and find the specific schematics for this thing, but to suffice it to say, we'll get into that later, of course. Suffice it to say, this one does 609 damage, and if a quick refresher for those who are maybe unfamiliar with the laser musket in Fallout 4, every one of these cranks that you get adds that damage on the card right there to your projectile, and 609, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot. Alright, next up, we've got barrels. You can have a stub barrel. The stub barrels, I don't think, have any muzzle slots. That's correct. It says it right there. And we can go for a sniper barrel. Shielded versions of that. If you feel like it, it'll increase the range and the damage. 762 damage from that. Yes, please. There's also stub volley barrels, short, long volley barrels, sniper volley barrels, which have a rotary effect to them, and there's some ways to turn this thing automatic if you feel like it, so there's plenty of use for the auto ones, but we're going to be making this one a sniper first off, because when I think Gauss rifle, I think sniper, and we'll play it at the same role as you'd get out of a standard Creation Club or vanilla game Gauss rifle. Now, in terms of recoil compensation, for anything that shoots just the single bullet at a time, the cranky crank ones, just go for a marksman stock, because that'll just reduce your scope sway when aiming down sights. Anything that has a faster fire rate, or you want to fire this thing automatically, then I would recommend chucking on the recoil compensating stock, but either one of those two. Unless you're worried about the weight of this thing, but we're already pushing 40 pounds already with this thing, so I don't think that's going to be an option. Right now, I've got a standard capacity. You could have improved, extended, recycling, which is auto, there you go, increased damage, gated, which will semi-automatic fire, superior ammo capacity and damage, and an improved armor penetration, or a supercharger. Single shot, exceptional damage and armor penetration, deals splash damage, can knock down targets. For a one-shot type weapon, I think that's what we're going to go with, but I do want to check out the gated capacitor as well, because potentially we could get a lot more damage per shot out of this thing, but this one will be probably slightly easier to charge. It'll charge fast, which is why it's called a supercharger, I suppose, and judging or just saying the fact that I can't put a supercharger in the Commodore, I can fill out my fantasies and dreams in Fallout 4. Next up, we've got the sights. You can have improved sights, reflex sights for a more close range automatic type weapon, and then you've also got scopes, night vision scopes, and recon scopes of varying sizes. I think a standard 10 times scope will be fine for this thing. The accuracy will be boosted and the VATS cost will be increased accordingly. That's fine. And right now, a legendary effect is there for you. If we put on instigating, that would be overpowered. Let's not do that. Now, we can have standard fusion cells, extended fusion cells, which will increase your damage with reduced reload speed, or a fusion core generator, which will increase fire rate, reload speed, capacity, but reduce damage. Nuh-uh, we're going maximum damage here. 1600, let's see if we can push that even further. No muzzle fix, we can attach muzzle on it. Use this to fix when your gun is not glowing properly. Next up, we've got a bipod. We put bipod on, you can do it. You can have it folded or erect, giggity. Then we also got a carry handle on the top. Now, I'm wondering whether we can find any... Oh, we can't have a suppressed version of this. Well, that won't do, will it? Does it say no muzzle slot? It does as well. Ah, the shielded sniper barrel doesn't have a muzzle... Oh, it's the sniper barrels that don't have the muzzle slot. Well, that's a little bit of a buzzkill there. I was hoping to put a suppressor on this, but honestly, the barrel's a little bit long enough already. So, for a long shooter barrel, we'll be losing a little bit of range, possibly more. That's actually heavier, despite being shorter. Perhaps it's denser. Not sure what's going on there. But, I want to see this thing with the muzzle slot. Just to put a suppressor on it, it's actually losing damage. Huh. I'm thinking there's a projectile that is added with this supercharger that is going to get overridden by this Gauss suppressed projectile. So that's fine. We're learning stuff on the fly here. We'll throw on the shielded barrel, the sniper here, and we'll make a different version of this that isn't suppressed, which we can use for sneaky stealthiness. There's our Marksman's Equalized Siege Gauss Cannon. It's a siege cannon, damn it. So I don't think industrial is how you describe this thing anymore. This is a proper weapon of war here, and that's just one of them. There's more to come. So in order for you to obtain this weapon, you have to craft it, but to do that, you'll need to grab the schematics, the manual to it. If you grab that, you can build the electromagnetic drivers. You'll find them in a little location called Fort Hagen Satellite Array, and I'll show the local map here. So you'll find it there. I'm at the area just under the bit where you fight the raider chick wearing the Tesla armor. This is a pretty straightforward cell, but you run towards the end of it as you get into this room with all of the infantry fighting vehicles sitting around, and you'll know it because there's these great big red doors there. You'll find it in the room under this blue-ish building here. Just find the door next to the infantry fighting vehicle with the patient gurney, whatever that thing's called, and the barrel of fire, and just go towards the Nuka-Cola Quantum right there. You can't miss it. There's also a Rust Devil gaming terminal that probably isn't Lily's. A lot of the more interesting attachments are obtainable only by finding the schematics or manuals for it, so I'll drop a quick list on screen right now. That's where you'll find them. I'm not going to go over getting each and every one of them, and if you're on lazy and you're on PC, find the encircled console command, put that in your console, and you'll unlock everything just like that. So there you go, happy hunting. You have to work a little bit for this thing, but I think it's worth it. Not really sure if the approach here is what I'd like to see. Normally with modded guns, you just get everything with the modded downloaded, but I'm not really sure if this is the right approach. But if you want to just mess around and chase those attachments down, then it's a cool way to kill some time. But the fun doesn't stop there, because there's some uniques getting around. So if you talk to Ronnie Shaw and ask to search her shop, then you can find a very special weapon called Final Hour. It says bullets exploded and impact doing bonus points of effect, damage, and extra resistance whilst reloading, and the rapid legendary effect along with that. 24 grand, chump change, buddy. Let's go. Okay, for the second unique / legendary version, you'll find it in the glowing sea where the crashed plane is around here. Now, unfortunately, I can't use the hotkeys to switch through these weapons quickly, because whenever I do, the game crashes. I've had a lot of crashes, and I figured out that if I switch with the Pip-Boy, the game won't crash. And as you can tell, there's a giant death claw in the way, so let's just begin. It's the Ancient. It's a giant Godzilla death claw. I don't know if this is the Raider. He's actually pretty tough. He's not as strong as the monsters, though. The monsters that I use in the mod, it's a little bit different, but the giant Godzilla Deathclaw is... he's gone. He is out of here, and whether that Deathclaw was carrying the thing, I'm not sure, but, yeah. That's what kind of damage we get out of this. That was the supercharged version, so I'm going to wait around a little bit and see if the Deathclaw is going to show up again, but I think we've just blown him onto Mars. We'll have to go to Mars. See, there's a regular old Deathclaw monster over there, but We'll have a look around. We'll see if we can't find that super special Gauss rifle. Okay, so you're meant to find a behemoth fighting some raider up here, but that just hasn't spawned in for whatever reason. But I did press a button in the plane, and now the tail light is blinking. There is a little lever that you can pull in here, and it lights up the whole glowing sea. So that's kind of cool, right? So we didn't leave with nothing. This wasn't a total loss, but looks like we might have to console command in that they're legendary. And just a reminder, find this on a chemistry workbench for crafting under HH Tools EM driver. For no particular requirements at all, you can just make this thing. You just pull it out of your ass. Also, it's called a Gauss shotgun. What? It's called a Gauss shotgun because the volley barrels make it a shotgun, which I thought they were a rotary barrel to be used with the automatic function, but maybe that's a mod for another day. Okay, we've messed around enough. Here is this thing in first person. We've already kind of seen it, so we'll take a look in third person. Look at this gigantic monstrosity. That's nuts. That is crazy, and that's just one of them, and we've just crashed. Okay, continuing on. This one's got a recon scope and a gated capacitor, which means that it's got 6 shots in its magazine and has the slower long reload like that. No, stop reloading, please. And it looks a little bit like that. It's also got a suppressor on the front, which means we can be nice and sneaky with it. And this one is a Gauss shotgun variant with a reflex sight on the top and pretty much minimalized in every other respect. Even in its minimalized form, this thing is still particularly giant. And of course, the final hour with some improvements in it. A completely unnecessary bipod carry handle I can take or leave. And I suppose we'll get into it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to switch weapons like this. So we'll pop the reload here and go through an unnecessary reload. And there's some mantits over there. Take that. And we don't have the suppressed barrel here. And whoops, we missed the spinny little bastard. And that was close. A little bit of a reminder to keep your head down, I think. There we go. And we've got a long scope on this. I purposely chose a long scope for this just so we could snipe. And there is some splash damage with the current capacitor that we've got on here, and that over there is a mercenary, which will eliminate our ability to get sneak criticals, so we can't have that. Not that we need them with a weapon of this power, but still. There we go. We'll continue to crouch here because sneaking is just how we roll, or how we crawl, I suppose, but things are going pretty well so far. There you go, take you out. I think that's you finished, and now we're actually in full danger now, so I suppose we'll just go over to this one. I feel like this one, despite getting less damage per shot, will be an overall much more consistent weapon. If I wanted a daily sniper version of this thing, I'd definitely choose gated capacitor and a barrel that can be equipped with a suppressor, just because it's just simply more efficient if you are sneaking. It just gives you a little bit of extra flexibility in your playstyle if you don't want to get shot at, of course. And honestly, that guy's close enough. It is shotgun time. So we've got 10 rounds in this thing, and it appears to be a gated capacitor. You'll notice there's just a little bit of Tesla rifle sounds in this, and I'm exploding along the ground here, hoping to get like splash damage, like a Gauss shotgun from Fallout 76. Don't think it's happening, but there's this nice sploshing, flesh cracking, splatting sound effect that is present when I'm shooting people with this, and it surprisingly holds its damage and accuracy pretty good over range, which is pretty much unlike every other shotgun in Fallout modding history. So I'm quite glad to see that this is actually quite a decent weapon at range here. I don't expect it to be hitting. We're getting half damage from back here, but still better than the 1s and 2s we'd get from a combat shotgun, right? Alright, let's rip out the final hour and just hold down the trigger and see what we can do. Now, couple of notes about a weapon like this is you can break it if you want to. If you crouch and go in third person, you go super fast mode, and that is, well, first of all, it's cheesing, but then it's overpowered, so, well, I say it's overpowered, but I think it is regardless of what fire rate you're using it at. But The thing about a weapon like this is when you're charging it, it's like a minigun rotary barrel charge up animation, but as soon as you stop firing, the reload, the thing resets. So there's a little bit of a delay when you're firing, and if you do take your finger off the trigger, you'll have a little bit of a pause before you're able to open up again. So I tend to just spray all of magazine that I've got, and then we can move on. And the reload on this thing being the same as the auto laser musket, but I feel like it's faster. All of that extra explosive damage coming in pretty handy here, I say. So, in terms of balance, I think, there's a big horner there. Don't shoot at the big horner, you bastard. Leave him alone. Alright, yeah, no, definitely overpowered, extremely overpowered. Like, I like my weapons to be of the endgame potential, but this is just wiping the floor with everything. I've barely lost a point of health here. Very cruisy run here, and we'll recover those wounds by the time we run over to take on the Swan, but again, also compatible with classic holstered weapons too, makes for a good apparel item. Always love to see that, but yeah, overpowered, but it's fun. Perhaps not for a super long time going to be fun, because if you crush everything too quickly, you'll find that you might get a little bit bored. But if you feel like that's too strong, you can either A, lower the capacitors so it's a little bit more in line with vanilla guns, or just use it sparingly. Perhaps if you're in a survival playthrough and this thing's weight is going to get in the way of actually using it properly, that might be a good balancing point. But for normal softcore, I can carry thousands of bullets and 5 of these things. I could carry about 10 more, so maybe could tone it down, but I'm not gonna complain if they don't. Alright, so there's the mighty Swan over there. He's taken on all of his, I believe that's Rust Devil's friends, and whilst I'm seeing the Rust Devils, that reminds me, you can get this weapon from Rust Devils. There'll be some new boss-type Rust Devils that spawn within the map that are carrying this new gun, so look out for them, because if they get the drop on you, then you can get yourself into a lot of trouble very, very quickly. And we are getting the sniper knockdowns here, and now we are utilizing the sneak criticals. Probably a good idea to switch to the supercharged capacitor, just because, right? I don't think I've used this thing that much in VATS since that first strike against that, and whatever that was died very quickly, and we've got perfect chance of doing a lot of good headshot damage here. First miss. Second miss. There we go. And it looks like we're matching the ballistic damage with the explosive damage too, so that's pretty scary. And whilst you're coming in closer, we'll add a critical into the mix, and no more sneak criticals for me. Perhaps we should go over to Final Hour, which, if you're familiar with the laser musket weapons and how they work in VATS when they're automatic, you'll find that they've got a pretty sick 10-round burst. So they'll just wreck Swan's face real fast. And we protected the big horners again. Hello, Mr. Big Horner. Sponsored by Colgate, this video. If you don't want your teeth looking like that, brush them every once in a while, alright? Sweet. Alright, now that that moral message is out of the way, I'm gonna kill some more monsters. Alright, the Wendigo has caused me quite a bit of trouble, and today is the day of his comeuppance. So we'll go for a critical. Yep, that got him. Okay, I guess we've got time for another monster then. Alright, it's the end of your days, lobster man, wherever you are. I see you at the bottom of the lake there, and we're going for your face, and we're going to throw every single crit we've got right at you. And that... Oh, we've even got a mysterious stranger underwater. Is he going to take the shot? Surely not. No, but he's going to throw the crazed Mirelurk Hunter across the Commonwealth, because why wouldn't you, right? I think I can claim victory there. We can assume that the gravity and the falling of the Mirelurk Hunter would have killed him, but I think you get the idea. So, obviously, overpowered. I've already spoken about that, but a problem that I've had with this thing is a lot of crashing. Every time I go into my inventory, every now and then, not every time. But every now and then, I'll get a crash when I go and switch to a different version. A lot of these I've had to just cut short because I've just crashed, and obviously we can't show the crash screen every video. But for as brilliant weapon concept and of great looking at that it is, there's a little bit of things that need to be sorted out. I'm not sure if it's all of these sweet lighting glowing bits that are causing that. It's probably not. There just might be some model problems that is causing issues engine level for this game, and I'm not really sure how they'd fix that other than just going over each and every one and maybe using Nifscope to sanitize the meshes. I don't know what I'm really going on about there, but yeah, there's just something a little bit wrong. It causes the games a few issues, so hopefully we can look into that and get it fixed. But I do highly recommend you download this thing, and maybe you can say that the hard work of finding the attachments, should you choose to do this thing properly, will be the reason why you can use such an overpowered weapon without fearing the scrutiny of your fellow players. Look, it'll be your secret, just you and me. I won't tell anyone. Again, so if you're interested in this mod, check out link in the description. She'll be down there. Thank you very much for watching, guys.